What's up guys, Taylor Mears here, back with the newest edition of the HIIT vlog. It's February, and many of you out there, along with the people you know, have already given up on your fitness programs for 2017. The main reason that people give me, other than lack of motivation, is lack of time. And let's face it, none of us really have time anymore, but it's just not a good excuse. Many of you out there may have heard of something called high intensity interval training. It's the newest craze, well maybe not the newest craze, but it's been out there for the last several years, and you've heard all the hype. Well, believe the hype. The majority of what you probably heard is actually very, very true about all the positive benefits you get from high intensity interval training. The problem is many of you out there don't know what it is and how to use it effectively, okay? So I'm gonna explain to you right now what it is, why it works so well, and how to use it effectively so that you don't have any more excuses for why you can't get the results that you desire. So what is it? It's repeated short bouts of high intensity exercise, and I mean high, y'all, exercise, followed by short to medium bouts of what you would call a recovery period. You do light to moderate activity, or you may do no activity. That's it. It's not rocket science. You don't have to pull out your calculator and create this formula for what intervals you need. There are no specific guidelines for HIIT training. That's all it really is. So if you can get your heart rate, if you're experienced enough that you know how to get your heart rate to spike and then recover and repeat that for bouts, for several bouts, you're doing high intensity interval training and you're gonna get the results from it. So don't overcomplicate it. Now, why does it work so well? Well, reason number one addresses the very first thing I talked about. If you don't have time, HIIT training is perfect for that. In as little as 4 minutes, you can see positive benefits from high intensity interval training. Now, the bouts can typically go all the way up to 20 or even 25 minutes long, and some people have even said they've done it for 30 minutes. I highly doubt it, but I can tell you this, that in 20 to 25 minutes a day, that's it. You can see crazy benefits in your lean body, in your body mass, so your body composition can change, in physiological benefits like cardiovascular health, pulmonary health, and the muscle sparring effects of it. So in a very short amount of time, you can see great results from high intensity interval training. The other thing is something called EPOC. And unless you've been in the exercise world and you're a geek like me on this stuff, you don't really know what that is. And that stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Sounds really fancy, it's not. What it means is your metabolic rate after exercise is raised. So if it's really intense, you can keep your metabolic rate up throughout, in many cases, the rest of the day just by this short bout of high intensity interval training. So if you want to raise your metabolism and burn not just a lot of calories while you work out, but throughout the entire day for hours after, then high intensity interval training is what you need. So you're saving time, you're boosting your metabolic rate for the day, and for those of you out there who really want to save that muscle, especially my guys that say, I can't do cardio, it wastes all my muscle away. Well, guess what, guys? All the research out there shows that when you do high intensity interval training, short bouts of high intensity conditioning, you can get lean and you can spare your muscle. So it has a muscle sparring effect over, say, steady state, long duration cardio, which tends to cause muscle wasting if you're not careful. So high intensity interval training for numerous reasons is gonna be the way to go for you. Now, here's the kicker. Most people don't really know how to do it, but as I explained earlier in the video, if you just keep it simple, you can design your own high intensity interval training workout. You don't have to be some certified personal trainer to do that. But I will give you some general guidelines. Number one, how long should the high intensity interval be? Well, your body is only made to go full blast for anywhere from 15 to 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. I've seen some people go really high intensity as long as 40 or 45 seconds, but it's rare. You gotta be very conditioned. So if you're just starting out on this, anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds, 10 to 25 seconds is all you need if you're going full blast. But I'm telling you guys, you gotta go full speed. Where a lot of people get this wrong is they kind of go medium speed. And that's just because of lack of experience. When I say high intensity, I mean you got to get your heart rate to hit the roof. And so that's why it's such a short interval. And then you follow that by a bout of either low intensity or no intensity. So I would suggest if you're a newbie, maybe go no intensity. Just walk or just relax for a minute. Let your heart rate go back down. And here's why. You're going to get more out of that bout of exercise if you allow yourself to recover in many cases almost fully before you go into that bout of high intensity. Because if that bout of high intensity is not high, you're not going to get the effects of high intensity interval training. This is where people get tripped up. So give yourself a chance to recover with light or no activity, and then get that heart rate to spike again. The other thing is duration. I don't suggest if you're new to this or you haven't done this before that you try and go out there and do it for 20 minutes. I might recommend you only do it for 4 to 8 minutes. Some of my clients may only do 8 minutes. 8 minutes of actual high intensity work after a workout as a finisher. Or maybe that's all you got time for in the morning. So start slow and build up. Maybe instead of 30 seconds, you start by only doing 10 seconds of high intensity and give yourself 20 to 30 seconds to recover. Repeat that for anywhere from 4 to 8 minutes. Start there and you build on that. Log your workouts, as I've talked about in earlier videos, so that you, maybe on weeks 1, 2, and 3, you only have 10 to 20 seconds of high intensity for 30 or 40 seconds of rest. And then after that, you either increase the duration of the workout or you increase the bout of high intensity and give yourself less rest on the interval. So you see how you can just play with the time here and the length of the workout to really get benefits for as long as you want, for months, just by playing with those numbers. As far as movements go, well, that's anything that's gonna get you using massive amounts of muscle. So for some people, they think doing jumping jacks is gonna cut it. I gotta tell you, those kind of exercises, unless you're a brand newbie, are not gonna be that effective. You need to choose exercises that are gonna use big muscle groups, squats, jump variations if your joints aren't hurting, burpees, push-ups, a lot of bodyweight stuff like mountain climbers. So you don't need equipment, guys. You can use barbells, you can use dumbbells, kettlebells. We use things like the Prowler. Show them the Prowler. We got a Prowler over there in the corner, that big nasty thing. We call it the Butcher. You can use those kind of tools and they're very effective, but you don't have to have those tools. Typically all you need is your body weight. Find a group of exercises that use large muscle groups. That's gonna be what gets your heart rate to spike. And perform them quickly as long as you know how to perform them well. And so that's it, guys. It's that simple. As far as who should do this, I believe anybody can do this. I've had young kids do interval training and I've had elderly people do mild forms of interval training, right? But what's intense for someone who's older or someone who's a newbie is different than what's intense for somebody who's an expert or who may be younger. So you just have to figure out where you fall in that continuum. But anyone can apply this, no matter your age. Okay, so stick around. I'm gonna drop another video later on a sample circuit. So I'm gonna suffer a little bit for you guys, and I'm gonna show you what a sample circuit looks like when you're doing high intensity interval training, so you can do this on your own. All right, guys, until next week.